Thank you everyone for joining our first SUGCON session this year. Since we are meeting up the first time this year, so a very happy new year and hoping you all are doing well. Today we are going to discuss on a topic, a key consideration for Sitecore CDP certification exam by Jaya, who is a Sitecore XM Cloud certified developer. So those who are looking for your, approaching for a CDP certification exam, this webinar will definitely will help you. So over to you, Jaya.
Yeah. So thank you, Arjun, for this opportunity, and Kaushik and thanks UG Kolkata, and Happy New Year, everyone, since we are meeting the first time. Uh, so this webinar is about the key consideration for the Sitecore CDP certification exams. If you're planning for a CDP exam, or if you are planning to have some basic knowledge, both the cases, this webinar will help you. So let's see what we have agenda today. So in this webinar, I'm going to cover the exam competencies and duration, what is required for the exam, what are the modules we need to cover, and what are the important topics related to each competency and references from our community. As you know, the Sitecore community writes everywhere like good things about each and every certification exam you get. The next, some brief about me. I am Jaya Jha, and currently I'm working on EPAM system as a lead software engineer, and I'm XM Cloud certified, Sitecore 10 and 8.2 certified, and recently I certified in CDP as well. And I have 10 plus years of experience in Sitecore tech stack, and currently I'm working in Sitecore Search and XM Cloud. So this is about me. Let's get started. So first thing, when we prepare for any kind of exam, basically it is a Sitecore or any other thing. So here we check what are the exam competency and duration. So as you guys may be working in Sitecore, so might have experience for Sitecore 10 and other certifications, so you might be knowing. So we register from BSSR, and there is the online and offline, both the ways we can give the exam. So for CDP exam, we have 30 multiple choice question, and it is a 60-minute exam. So you have 30 questions only, where you have the passing criteria 80%, as we have other exams as well in Sitecore. So the main sections competencies are customer data platform, and each of the sections having some different weightage. So percentage is written along with this. So customer data platform, it covers 23% of the your exam questions. Real time behavior and data ingestion is 33% weightage, and interactive API 14%. Batch data ingestion is 16%. Batch segment and audience export is 14%. So going through these slides, I will cover each and every competency. What are the key areas? What are the key topics you need to focus, so that when you go through these exams, like it will, at the end of this session, you will be having an overview, like where I need to start and where I should go. So this is the screenshot from a Sitecore certification guide for CDP, where each of the competency is listed, and in this, under each competency, you will be having the links of resources. So in next other slides, I'm going to explain about these resources. As you can see, each of these resources having some links, and I'm going to show you each of the links, what important topics you have to go through. Because once, as a beginner or new person, you click on this introduction or any link of resources, you might get lost, because there are several inline links are there. So to stay on the topic, what is needed for you, I have made it more simplified. So before we start, let's focus on what are the course module you need to understand before going into in-depth details. So these are few courses which I have, when I have given my exam, I started from this only. These courses help you to understand the terminology of CDP. And these all our courses are listed on Sitecore, that learning.sitecore.com, where CDP for technical user is for all the technical users, as a developer, or you wanted who understand the technical things in a website. And for CDP business user, for marketing people, or business user. Even though we should go through these three courses, Sitecore, CDP, and Personalized, previously was a combined exam, now they have separated it. So these all three courses are very important for everybody who is planning for the CDP exam, as this when you go through all these resources, you will get at least all the used to terms day to day what CDP person or developer use. These terms you will get used to it. So when you go through the next step, when you go through the resources link, you will understand, okay, this thing I heard in the video, or I went through this course module. So it will be a familiar to you. So these three courses, just make a note and just go through these. And again, this is the next slides will be just for your learning purpose. It is not guaranteeing or saying that it will be a perfect material for your exam. It's just a supplementary, just for your knowledge enhancement and showing you the way how you crack the exam and gain the knowledge of CDP. Let's get started. Our first competency is customer data platform. And when you click on that, this customer data platform resources, and in my previous slide I have shown you, you will see several links are there. From each of the links, I have grabbed the important topics which you need to go through. So as you understand, this customer data platform is the main thing what CDP is basically we use to identify the customer data, what coming through the application, what are the data we collect. So you need to understand first thing in this, like identify the different type of guests. So what kind of guests it uses, like inside of the platform. So there are example I'm showing you, the customer, visitor, and retire. So go through these customer, visitor, and retire. What are they, how they identify these, what are the main criteria on which you decide it is, if a visitor come to your website, it is a customer, visitor, or retire. So these all criteria you decide in your CDP platform. So just identify those, and whichever having this link, go just focus on the concept of like what customer is, how we can configure, when we can identify. And next is understanding the session and events in Sitecore CDP. This, like in CDP, we have several kind of events. Example I have given, Sitecore CDP uses channel, point of sale, browser ID, timestamp to categorize events. Like when somebody comes on your website, it clicks or purchase something. So different, each user when visit the website, they do different kind of event activity actions, which is called events here. So and they have different sessions. They might be logging through your website, like web browser, mobile phone, or laptop, different digital media. So these all sessions are categorized based on events they perform, and they have different categories to recognize that, that is channel, point of sale, and browser ID and time steps. So just go through the deep understanding of those, because after exam, at least you will be having the basic knowledge of these, and these concepts you will be a thorough in those. So just clearing the exam is not our purpose. Our purpose should be to go through the basics and understand the basic concepts. So that's why the key points I have mentioned here. And next topic is, next section is like understanding identity resolution in Sitecore CDP. So as we have the different platforms here, learn about the difference between the Sitecore CDP. Previously, it was box saver, and the clients who were using the earlier, they will have different versions. When it got upgraded to CDP, they have different data models. So just analyze what is the difference between 2.0 and 2.1 data model, and go through like what newly got added, what previously was there, and what are the differences and benefits of it, and what your client is using. If you have, then you can understand better way. And one more thing, what key concepts I have written here, if you have the sandbox access, or you, if your organization is having that, just go through and check by after reading your theory part, go through the link, and then understand where is the customer and visitor, how it is configured there, what are the identity resolutions in your CDP is used by your client or your project or your customer. Okay, so this is one of the important aspect. like to understanding the difference between the data models. Now, this is cookies are also one of the important concept which is used in every project, I guess. And this BID underscore client key, you have to know like what it is, why it is used, and which scenario, in what purpose, in what scenario in your project it fit well, and how, what are the use cases of it. BX underscore bucket under these three kind of cookies are very important. BX guest reference, these things. So understand about what these cookies are, what are their main functions and characteristics. Then, sorry, then we come on to the Amazon Simple Storage Services. This is in CDP, we collect lot of data from outside applications as well. So this is one of the method it is used. So you can check about this, like what it is and what format of file it is used. Next is events. Sorry, one second. I'll just, sorry for the interruption. Next is this is also one of the important aspects of customer data platform. Like said, so whenever you add the CDP where lot of events are there, understand about these events like add consumer, add contacts, and confirm checkout. So I have mentioned here in 2.0 these events were there, and 2.1 these events were got modified. So understand the difference of it. One second.
Sure, Jay, take your time.
Next section, real-time behavior data ingestion and CDP collect our customer data real-time, also batch and REST API. Understand about each of the APIs like Stream API, Batch API, and REST API. Understand the characteristics of each API, like what Stream API do, what is the characteristic, and why we use similar Batch and REST. And then we have different point of integration, like how CDP work with mobile, web, and hybrid. Understand what kind of understand what kind of APIs we are using and what kind of integration points we are using, like mobile, web, or hybrid. So in all of these methods, having different kind of API endpoints. These API endpoints where you can find in your customer portal, that also you have to understand. So if you have the access of Sitecore Sandbox of CDP, go to and navigate through these API endpoints where you can find this and what are the details. Basically, these URLs are very important to understand. Each region have their different API endpoints. And simple way, you have the queuing events. When you work with the CDP, as I shown you in the previous slide, there are events, right? Add, consumer, contact, and checkout, confirm. Similar way, when somebody is purchasing something to your website, these are all events are calculated inside of your CDP to get more information about it, right? So for that, we are using here, check what kind of queuing events are there. The important point, what we, the example I have given here, engage dot add to event queue. So what does it do? What is the function of, what is the code behind it? So understand that one, how can you integrate in your application? And if you have add to event queue, what it does? And similar way, process event, what it does? So all these events are very important, and the characteristics of it and how you integrate in your application. So when you go through that link, it will be having some sample codes. Try that in your sandbox. And the engage.get browser ID, this is also one of the important function when CDP integrates your users, or your users are coming, how you get the details of that user. If you have to find this in your CDP or in your browser, that case this engage.get browser ID is very functional, and return it gives you, when you run this function, it returns the browser ID, and this browser ID is directly related to the users who are coming to your site, and you can identify these things. So get browser ID and similar more related functions are there. When you understand that one, and hit that into the your sandbox and check what it returning, what kind of ID string IDs it is returning, and where you can apply those, because Sitecore is always giving you the situational thing, and like you understand when the concept behind it, you can clear any of the situational question or any of the scenario based, even in your day-to-day project life also. Any client related scenario comes, you can understand that better way if you understand these terms. So I was talking about the previous slide, the APIs, and that is a most important part in CDP, like REST and Stream and Batch API. So in that only, it comes like when you and how you interact with your API, what is the format endpoint, what endpoint is there, and what request format you are sending. So I have just given a sample screenshot. When you go through that interactive API under resources, you go through the first point is like understand here the REST API endpoint and how this post request get formed, and how we are sending to the different system. So this format is very important to understand. And inside of that, we, as I told you in the first slide, there is a guest, visitor, and customer. uh, uh, Different type of visitors are there, right? So all these visitors have different kind of data associated with, orders are there, some different action events are there. So how you categorize those if you have multiple sources systems, right? So in CDP we have ext 1 2 3 up to 5. So this concept is also very important when you are dealing with the guest extension CDP, like how you send your guest extension data into multiple source systems. So that's why I have mentioned this, like this is for just example. You have to now understand like under ext what are the things are there, uh, how we can send it, what is the API, what are the different parameters come under it. So just for learning purpose I have mentioned here. So when you go through that link and you see that ext 1 and 2, just understand what are the criteria, what kind of data we send, if what kind of data extension comes under this. These all details you can find in that resources links. Then you have to understand by seeing that what are the guidelines we have to follow as per the CDP for these data extension, and how can you retrieve a guest details, how can you send a response to the other system, how can you integrate the multiple system into your multiple source data into your CDP. So mostly in CDP, like it is a single platform which can work with all other systems, and you can interact like you have the website in different systems we can say, or a digital era, but all your data get collected here. And for that purpose only this interactive API got used, and you can track your all data from other places as well. So this is one of the screenshot which I post here. It is a post call where just we have to put our base URL, which I have shown you in the previous. Like you have different endpoints, so which endpoint is used in your project you can use. And then we are just sending a reference guest and this reference ID and ext extension data. In this you can see we have different kind of data we collect in that. So loyalty tier, this is one of the, in case of like attribute of your customer or user. So these in this format it is only goes to, contact between systems. So request response what we are sending in APIs, it works in that manner. So let's go. Yeah. So next topic is, this is also one of the key area, and you should go through the sandbox and understand this one by doing a practical. It, as it says, batch data ingestion. So it previous APIs we have seen, like we have REST, Stream, and batch API. So batch API, when we use, so they have the different file formatting requirements. Just for example, I have given it like that file zip format should be in .zz file. The maximum size of the zip file is 50 MB. Similar way, they have like each line of the file should be in the JSON format. Like that, they have different criteria. So understand like what batch API is and what data formats it supports, how you can club that data into ZZip file, and why this, if you have the file size which is 50, more than 50 MB, what you should do. So these all guidelines are very important for the project perspective as well as the for exam topics. You, when you go through that, at least you will be good enough to explain anybody like what batch file formatting is, and you understand each of the main aspects of it. And the similar way we have, when lot of data is coming into your CDP, how you like export that into a report, that also you need to cover it. So the here I have, that's why I mentioned troubleshooting audience export. What we do here, similar, like suppose you have lot of data and you have scheduling, there you can schedule some reports based on the timely manner. So here one can be come, like if you want to edit and export, you have exported lot of data into the CDP, but you can't access that build screen. So what can be the reason? Because it is in schedule status. So understand like what is that schedule status and how regularly we can schedule it, how we can configure the audience export, and if we want to export it, how we can do it, and if we want to like edit it, how we can do it. So in this case, when you have exported a data and you see the build screen and you want to do it, edit something, and you are not able to do it, means your audience export is in schedule status, and if you want to edit something, you have to pause it. So this is just one scenario. Several scenarios are mentioned on those links. You can go through it and understand actually what audience is and how it works in an import and export. So when a lot of audience export data is coming in your CDP, and if you wanted to analyze that data, what should you do? So there is a way like how to download the report, and when an audience export finishes, the learn way to access exported data. So basically in this section, you will see they have explained here like how audience export data you bring into your system, and you wanted to analyze it, how you download. So there are multiple ways. I have written a few, like download directly from the CDP. So here what you need to understand, how you navigate the point where you directly download that report. So that steps will be there. Email notification, how you can enable that email notification. Receiving the output in an integration tool, how can you achieve that one? So these are the ways, but you have to understand how you can do this. So if you ask this question about these three terms, like how we can perform this and where is the navigation, almost this whole concept will be clear to you. Like that now, whenever anybody asks or you can directly say like, okay, I know downloading the report into the CDP, how it works. So I have just given a sample, like it is a, when you go to the sandbox, there is a activity button, and there in finished export, you can see download output. And as this CDP deals with the REST API, so it has Java's different kind of SDKs as well that we will see in going forward. But it has the use of JavaScript also to compute the guest profile data content or details, like guess whenever any user come to your website, it gives you like first name, last name, and more details what you configure on your through your forms as we work in the site course. So all these small attributes get configured into the CDP as well. And how can you compute these functions? So this is one of the sample function I have written, like dollar or JavaScript syntax. It is guest is your main entity, and then date of birth is the attribute which you want to retrieve. So here the purpose of showing this code is to, there will be a sample code wherein in one compute function it will be written like how you can retrieve, or a one screen is there in your dash CDP platform. You go there and check what your, when you analyze your guest data, what are the important details are there. So and how you can extract in JavaScript function, because in that platform JavaScript code also you can run and see. We will be moving next screen now. So here we have like batch segments and audience export. As we talk about the previous thing, audience thing, here audience export thing. Same here, it is more leveraging the batch segmentation, like how you can create those and understand why it is used, what it does with the customer data collected in CDP. So here in this section, it will be in a detailed manner. In the previous section, it was just like understanding the format of the batch files and guidelines. In batch segmentation and audience export, it mainly in, it will go in depth, like how basically you understand your collected data, how you run segments, how frequently you can access exported data from a segment. So you have to here mainly focus on the segments, how we can create segments, how you can understand with the advanced user segmentation. Like there will be in GUI where you can enable advanced mode and write your SQL queries directly into UI. For that, what you need to do, like advanced user segmentation, what it does, basically it enable the advanced mode to write SQL directly into UI and apply regression logic, quantities, and advanced other segmentation capabilities. So basically you go and check what is advanced segmentation, write some advanced queries based on your sample data. You will get lot of sample JSON file and data as well for your practical purposes over the internet in this learning module as well, in the Sitecore learning modules. And then the this is the foremost important things comes, how when you configure your whole customer journey into the CDP platform, and in between when you encounter some kind of error, this is one of the also comes as a important concept, where you understand by seeing the codes like what exactly it means. So this is what one of the important aspect of CDP, where by seeing the code you understand what error is and how you resolve it. So go through each of the error codes, because here, as normally in our other work, when you do 400 have some different meaning, but in CDP it has validation error. Suppose you have some data type in your customer profile and it is not matching what you have given, so it give you the 400 error. Then you have to understand maybe it is a data type or some attribute which you have not defined, you are accessing, it is a undefined attribute, or when some you have added some validation, it is not working in that way, so maybe it is a validation error. So it has the 400 code is having different meanings. So understand these in details, what it is and in which scenarios it is coming. So understand that use cases. Similar way, like 401, it is, we know, like it is most of the time it is unauthorized error. And here also it has the same meaning, but what kind of unauthorized errors you get it, like you have defined your API key or it is a wrong, you are accessing the different reason, a different point or point of sale where you don't have access. These kind of errors here reported by like 401, it will error out. Similar way, 402 support, like unsupported mode. Understand about what are the unsupported mode it and what can be in your customer profile data it will be related to, so that you can understand whenever the 402 any scenario is given to you, you can easily understand okay why this is coming up. 404 not 4, we all always know it is like resource not found. So here also it is the same. If something you have not defined or it is not coming up and you are accessing, it will return you the 404. Similar way, you have 403 action not allowed, and it has also different meanings to it. Go through and detail, like you do not have sufficient permission to perform any action. This is one of the sample. and you are attempting to delete a guest that has a current active session. So in that scenario, the screen will give you 4 not 3 error, which these two are sample. You can get into more detail and you can try out yourself also, like what missing data, if you are not configuring it, what kind of error it gives. And last, the thing is here 409 409, if it is like this error is basically related to the batch API. I have shown you in the previous screen where batch API guidelines are there. So in that guidelines, we have some steps like we should be each of the batch API files should be, each line will be in JSON, and it has the if size will be more than 50 MB, we have to split it into the smaller files. And then we have some security instruction to put on that, like we have to create some checksum number. For that, it is this, if that security number is not matching, that case it will return you 409, because there is an external tool where you generate it and then add it. So go through that, that is a very important, and this error is basically related to the batch API. So this is like most of the topics under this section. And as now CDP and personalizes separate exams now, so these 4 or 5 segments competency is very important. You can where you have to just go through these 5 categories now. Previously it was combined with personalized, so there were more sections to it. When you go through the exams of like this section, this one, Sitecore CDP and personalize, you will see what you have covered in technical users or the competency I have shown you, and with the personalize. So it will be having total 6 sections. So each of the competency CDP and personalize combined, but few of the things you can get into the, like when you prepare for personalize, that will again you will repeat the CDP competency. So if you prepare well for these section, it will help you in your next personalized exam as well. And what I explained right now, all the competency and the bullet points were from these resources only. So when you click on each these resources, you can understand like what you can relate to my slides, and it will be very helpful for you to going forward for that. And as our Sitecore community is already contributing a lot, so I have also created a blog post where I have compiled all the resources which helped me as well. And it will give you, and here also I have posted few links where after your preparation, like after going through, the first step is going through a course, second step is going through the resources, and this is the last step. Like once you are already aware about all the terminology, all the courses, so you have all the basic understanding, and as well as you are thorough with your concepts of CDP, then you go through these resources. It will help you to judge your knowledge. So in this like Sitecore CDP certification exam by Vishal, he has given the set of 10 questions. You can understand like what your learning is, but you can check your learning through that. And what I have explained is this is study guide where like most of the concept which I have explained is there. Go through each of them and understand it better. So by saying that, like this is come to an end of this session. I hope you got some idea to approach for any kind of exam related to the Sitecore. And if you have any question, you can ask now. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Jaya, for giving us a detailed description, and it will definitely help someone who is going for the CDP certification exam. Just want to ask everyone if anyone has any question.
If you have any question, please unmute yourself, or you can put in the chat box also.
Okay. In case if you found any question after seeing this video, you can connect to Jaya, or you can connect us as well. We will be posting this video soon on the YouTube channel, and we'll share the link. we will post this PPT as well to the event page. So thanks, Jaya. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you. Thanks, Jaya. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.